Now, real estate with Naima Abdul-Halim. Now, yesterday I went over steps one and two, remember? For those of you that weren't here, step one is to find out what you can afford, and step two is to get pre approved for a loan. If you did not see my first video, you can view it at youtube.com/ at Naima Abdul Halim. Again, that's youtube.com/ at Naima Abdul Halim. Today, I'm going to go over steps three and four. So, step three is create a list of needs versus wants. Essentially, you need to determine what is most important to you in a home, the non negotiables versus what you'd like to have in your home. Take a look at the things you might need to let go of. In other words, figure out what you need in your home. Think number of bedrooms or bathrooms, your yard, your garage, your basement, etc. Do you need a pool? Not really. Versus what you want in your home, such as a pool, fenced-in yard, a gourmet kitchen, a deck, a walk-in closet. Those are your wants, but your basic needs are going to be the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, your yard, your garage. Do you need a basement or you don't need a basement? Do you need a one-car garage or a two-car garage? Those are the things that are going to be most important. Then you write these items down when you're shopping for a home. This will eliminate a lot of wasted time and energy looking at homes that don't meet your criteria and your budget, and will bring you that much closer to finding the right home for you. Keep in mind that no home is perfect. Please, please remember that no home is perfect. Do not set yourself up for disappointment. Be prepared to make some concessions and remember that your ultimate dream home might be out of reach for now. Nobody said that your first home has to be your last home. Step four, look at homes. Now comes the fun part as well as the tricky part, looking at homes. The fun part is searching and viewing online homes that meet both your budget and your criteria, as well as visiting open houses and allowing you to figure out what you want for yourself, what is and isn't right, isn't is or isn't the right type of home for you, and then finding it. You should make a sure and thorough search is completed on all the available for sale homes that fall within your price range and meet all of your needs. That means that at least several of your wants are there, and on your list you wrote out in the third step. The tricky part, this is the tricky part. You need to examine each property's condition so that you know exactly what it is you're getting. Who knows what a seller or listing agent is not disclosing to you? Hire a qualified home inspector to inspect all aspects of the home, such as your structural and your foundational issues, the yard, the driveway and walkway, the quality of water and plumbing systems, as well as the electrical work, water damage or mold, infestations required for extermination, as well as doors and windows. I cannot, oh God, I cannot express to you the importance of getting a home inspection. Now, I'm going to share a personal story about the home inspection. It was a lesson learned and appreciated. Not at the time that I learned the lesson did I appreciate it, but when I sat down and actually looked over the big bullet we just dodged, I truly appreciate the fact that we had a home inspection. At the time, my husband and I were living in Staten Island. We have 11 children. They had various different ranges and ages, and some had moved out and married, and we had grandchildren. So I didn't want to move into a small home. I wanted a big home with a big yard. That was my criteria. I wanted 4 to 5 bedrooms. I wanted a living room, a dining room, because I love to entertain. And so I wanted a dining room that everybody could sit at the table and we could eat together and we could talk together. We could have those Sunday dinners at grandma's house. I wanted it all. I wanted 3 bathrooms, not 2.5, but 3 full bathrooms. Well, we used to pass this house on our way to Pathmark. That was a grocery store we went to at the time. And I saw this house and it had a nice yard and it had such a cozy look to it. and a nice iron wrought fence going around it, and it had a detached garage. Now, I did not know at the time that my husband prefers attached garages. I didn't care as long as it was a garage. But it had a detached garage, two cars could fit in it. And I used to say to my husband, if that house ever becomes available, we buying it. Now, we had not seen the inside of the house. We didn't know what it looked like or anything. I just knew from the outside and what I could see of the yard that I wanted that house. Well, eventually, a for sale sign came up on that house. And I said, we have to go and see that house. So we contacted the real estate agent, who just happened to be a friend of ours. And she arranged for us to come and see the house. Well, we also contacted a home inspection agent to meet us there at the house to go through it with us because we had already been pre-approved for our mortgage. And I knew that all I was just going to do was go in and take a cursory look over the house, and I was going to sign the dotted line, and that was going to be it. That was what I said. Okay. So we went and we walked in and we looked at the house. And it had a nice little sun porch. It wasn't a year-round sun porch. It was what they call a three season sun porch, meaning that in the wintertime, if you didn't put heat out there, a space heater or something like that, that porch was cold, cold, cold. But we didn't care. It was a place to take off our shoes because we don't wear our shoes in the house. It was a place to take off our shoes to get into the house, and that was that. And then you walked into a nice big living room that led into a nice sized dining room that led into a nice sized kitchen. The kitchen needed a little work. I could use a little tweaks here and there, but I didn't mind. It had a nice big um, pantry, food pantry, and then there was the door for the stairs to go downstairs to the basement. When you came back out, back into the living room, there was the stairs to go upstairs, and the bedrooms were there. There were three bedrooms on one floor. Um, the master bedroom had a bathroom, and there was a bathroom in the hallway, and then there was a set of stairs, and there was two additional bedrooms upstairs that also had a bathroom. So there were bathrooms as well as a powder room on the first floor. Almost forgot about that. And the house looked fine. We did notice some little things about it, but they were things that we knew that we could handle, and there were some things that we made note of that we were going to ask the owner to take care of. Well, the home inspector, he was going about and he was doing his thing and everything. And we finished looking at the house, and we're standing there with my friend who was the real estate agent and the owner of the house. And I'm envisioning, we could put the couch over here, and we could put the dining room table here, and the I don't have a china cabinet, but I want to buy a china cabinet, and we could put the china cabinet over here. And I was just going all out, all out. The backyard was fine. We was going to get a set of swings and put out in the backyard for the grandkids when they came. And then the home inspector came back. And so we're standing there, and he says, okay, I have some bad news for you. He says, I'm going to write everything up in my report, but I do have to give you some bad news. And I do have some good news. He said, the good news is that the house is structurally sound. There's nothing wrong with, there's no termites or anything like that. Here in the house is very structurally sound. He said the bad news is that there are two different types of water heaters downstairs. There are two different um, furnaces downstairs. The, um, the, the electrical work needs to be redone. It's very old, so the whole house needs to be redone, electrical work redone throughout the whole house. He said the roof is in pretty good condition, but in about 2 years, you're going to have to redo the roof. He said the windows are old, they haven't been upgraded or done, so the whole house needs new windows and all. And as this man is talking, the tears are welling up in my eyes. And I'm doing my best not to let those tears fall down my face. And as he's talking, I'm listening to him. And he's talking about the water pressure is no good, and that this needs to be changed and that needs to be changed. And I'm hearing cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. Now at that time, I knew nothing about real estate about except for what we walked into and how things were going. And so I said to him, and trying to keep the tears out of my voice as I was speaking, can you give us a rough estimate on how much it would cost to fix all of these things? He said, well, I'll give you a ballpark figure. He said, but you need to have a contractor come in here and he'll give you the real thing. He said, but it's going to cost you a little bit over $100,000 to get everything fixed. And I stood there with the stoniest face that I could muster up. And I told him, thank you very much. I appreciate you for your time. Here's your check. And I gave him the check that paid for his time. And I said to my husband, we can leave. And so my friend, Michelle, said, well, do you want to put in an offer for the house or do you want to think about it? I said, there's nothing to think about. We don't want this house. And I walked out the door. And I walked out the door as stone faced as I could be. And we got in the car. And when my husband drove off and we were no longer in front of that house, I started bawling like a baby who had not had a bottle for hours. I cried and cried because that was my dream house. I envisioned myself living in that house. My children lived close by. My grandchildren were always going to be there. I had a short walk. I didn't even have to drive to Pathmarks anymore. I had a short walk to Pathmarks. And if I walked out and turned the corner the other way, the nail salon that I went to was right there. The bus going to the ferry that would get me to New York to my job was across the street. Everything was perfect. Everything was perfect about living in this house in this area of Staten Island until we had that home inspection. And had we just looked at that house and not had a home inspection and signed on that dotted line and been given that mortgage and all, we would have walked into a money pit that we could not have afforded. So that's why you will hear me stress over and over and over and over and over again that when you look at a house and you decide that it's the one for you, that you get a home inspection done and you go over that home, have that home inspector explain to you, what is going on and what is wrong and what the ballpark figure is to get that fixed. You do not want to get yourself into something that you can't get yourself out of. Now, that's my story about dodging the bullet. If you haven't seen my first video, again, you will be able to see it at youtube.com/at Naima Abdul-Halim. And I look forward to the very next one that we have where we will be going over steps 5 and 6. You have a great evening or a great morning or a great afternoon, whatever time you're looking at this. Be blessed.